Alright, welcome to another fantastic playthrough. Today we're playing Final Fantasy X Remastered. It's one of the best games I've ever played, and the most memorable Final Fantasy for me. Came out in 1999, released on the PlayStation 2. Creator TETSUYA NOMURA really did well with the game's overall presentation, I guess. Along with him, there were the regulars, Yoshitori Kitase and NOJIMA. But the one of the familiar faces to all the Final Fantasy fans out there, the original creator took a bit of a back seat on this one, and basically ushered in a new age. There was a lot of new things introduced in this series, such as voice acting, a new battle system, a new grid system. The previous Final Fantasies had a leveling system which increased your attributes as you went higher. But in this game, we see a we see a separation from that, and moving more towards a grid system and job system. In the early game, you'll see more of the job system come into play, whereas in the late game, you see you see most of the characters all come together and have similar stats, because everybody learns everything, and you have to fill out the grid system, especially if you're trying to be a completionist. So let's go ahead and start a new game. So we're going to go ahead with the expert grid since it gives us a little more creativity. And let's go with the arranged soundtrack. Oh. There we go. Sorry, my controller went out of power. Let me just plug it back in. Alright, so let's go ahead and pick Arranged here. There we go. Arranged is the new remastered soundtrack for this game here. So our story starts here in Zanarkand. We see our weapons of our heroes. Very symbolic of what's happening in this part of the game. We see all our heroes: Lulu, Riku, Waka, Kamari, Auron, Titus and Yuna. Titus and Yuna being the main characters of the game, which majority of the story revolves around. But we do see a lot of character development between all the other minor characters as well. So that's Yuna for us. And yes, she does have two different eye colors, if the eagle-eyed amongst you will notice. One is green and one is blue. It kind of mirrors her heritage, which we'll find out later on in the game. So try not to say anything during the speech portion, so that way we can really grasp the dialogue here and the story.
Listen to my story. This may be our last chance.
Final Fantasy X. All right. Excuse me. So Final Fantasy X has been known to really push boundaries with fashion and gameplay and everything. You can really notice it in their fashion in this part of the game, and you'll really notice it's a blend of generations and just like really outlandish, I guess. Especially with the shorts and his design. They've really did well with the changing of the models of the characters. Like you could just really see Titus's face, even when you're in just normal gameplay, and him moving around is very smooth. It's a lot smoother than the PlayStation 2 version. You could really see each detail on his hair and overall costume. So let's go ahead and talk to these ladies.
Of course.
Of course. So this is where we pick our name. We're gonna leave it as Titus. Fun fact, actually, it doesn't matter what you choose for him. They never really mention his name. They usually just refer to him as Star of the Zanarkand Apes, or him, or her, or he. But they never actually mention his name throughout the game.
That will mean it was for you, okay? What seat?
East block in the front row! Fifth from the right!
Got it.
See, you see a lot of you see a lot of him just trying to be like his dad throughout the entire game, who will play a big role in this story.
Please!
Alrighty.
Me too!
Even the NPC character models have really been done right, I guess. And the remasters really breathed new life into this series.
Well, gotta go. Cheer for me.
2, 3. Teach us how to blitz!
Hey, I got a game to play.
Then teach us after.
Maybe tonight?
You can't tonight.
I mean tomorrow.
Promise?
Promise.
Also, this we just saw the sign of victory in Zanarkand, aka also the prayer of the Bavel religion as well. We actually see this for previous Final Fantasy fans. They'll notice it's very similar to one of the characters in Final Fantasy VIII. I forgot the name, but he's the gentleman with the long hair, and he's one of the characters we see in a flashback. He does one of the victory poses that looks exactly like this, very similar.
I was in a coffee shop running away from home when I heard the news. Our hero, Jecht, gone, vanished into thin air. My dad must have been his biggest fan. I knew how sad he'd be. Heck, we all were that day. Zanar, I says to myself, what are you thinking? I went running straight back home. We sat up talking about Jecht all night. My dad and I never talked so much. Whoa, didn't mean to reminisce, folks. Anyway, 10 years later, the Jecht Memorial Cup tournament is today. The two teams that have won through to the finals are, of course, the Abes from A East and the Duggles from C South. I know there's a lot of people out there today to see the star of the Abes. In just 1 year, he's become the team's #1 player. He's Jecht's blood and the new hope of blitzball. What kind of super play will he show us today? Will we see his father's legendary shot? I don't think I'm the only one excited here, folks.
Alright, so what we just heard was Anaris. He's one of Jecht, who we were just introduced to, is Titus's dad. He disappeared a few years ago, is what Zanaris was telling us. He's actually telling us a little background story of how he left and how Titus has to fill his shoes. He's a rising star in the Zanarkand Apes, with the team he plays for, in a sport called blitzball. Blitzball is a real, a really big part of the game. We'll be seeing it and playing it a lot more later on, but we'll see a bit of it right now, and we'll see one of my favorite FMVs, full motion video is what they used to call it. Song is by Ramenstein, so let's go ahead and watch. Alright, so we just saw the Zanarkand game, a blitzball game, just get attacked by something unknown. And here we see Auron coming in now.
Auron! What are you doing here?
What are you doing?
What are you talking about?
So Auron is our resident badass and senpai character of this group. He's a real mentor to Titus in the game. So let's go ahead and see where he takes us. If you also notice, a lot of the movements in the game are unorthodox for the time. If you notice before this, a lot of the games are very robotic and like just the movement was very limited. But in this game, you see a lot of fluid movements and unorthodox movements.
What? Don't cry.
A lot of it is body capture movement, so it's really been implemented for the first time in this game. And you start seeing it a lot more later on in games like Final Fantasy 15 and Crisis Core and all that. You see a lot of these fluid movement actions in the games, which wasn't very common before this, especially since everything was on the PlayStation 1 and it was kind of limited. Also, if you notice the chain Titus is wearing, I remember one of my buddies used to wear one of that all the time. It used to be they used to sell that as merchandise separately, and I think it also came with the limited edition at one point.
Sin?
Sin. So Sin is our main antagonist of the story here. Majority of the game is us trying to take it down. So what we're seeing here are Sin Spawn. Sin Spawn are anything that basically falls off of Sin, and they basically attack humans. They're like they're fiends actually, not like, but they are. They're fiends.
Take it. A gift from Jecht.
My old man.
So you notice the sword is in the shape of a J for jet, basically. I think they were trying to put that off in this scene here. Also, I like how he switches from this is the heaviest thing in the world to the lightest thing, and he just wields it like it's real light. So these guys are pretty easy to beat. They're basically one shot, one kill. They're just trying to get you to get used to the mechanics of the game. So this part of the tutorial, actually, you could actually stay here and grind and really level up.
Cut the ones that matter and run.
You could really level up. All you have to do is keep killing the ones on the back here. So these guys right here. If you just keep killing them without killing the front row, you could level up pretty high and really grind some levels out if you really want to get an early jump start in the game. But for us, I think we're just gonna cut through these guys and move forward. See how they're moving forward. In that portion, you could have just kept killing the back row and everything would have been just the same. And they won't kill you because they don't do enough damage to kill you, I guess. And they've given you enough potions and stuff to really sustain you for a little while there. You could probably get away with maybe an hour or two without even doing anything. But, you know, it's a little slow. So the attack we just saw was Demi.
Some can't wait to die.
So Demi just takes away a quarter of your HP or something like that, no matter how much you have. And now this is the tutorial for the overdrive system. So the overdrive system, every character has a different type of overdrive and how it works. Auron's is basically you put in an input of a few commands, and that's what causes you to either do full damage or some kind of status ailment with the damage of the attack. If you fail it, then you just basically just do like a little bit of damage, and that's it. So this one is pretty easy. So that one attacks everybody, took out all the minions there. Titus is a little different, but we'll see it in a minute too. So there's that demi attack again that takes away a portion of your life. So here, let's do Titus's. So Titus is fairly easy. It's just that little bar, you have to get it right in the middle in the yellow area. And if you get it, you obviously do more damage than it's meant to do. And then different characters get their overdrive differently. Auron's is through finding a few spheres that we'll find out later on. Titus is basically you have to use them over and over again. A certain amount will give you different overdrives. And then the other characters are linked to other things, which we'll discuss as we see the character. Alright. Also, if you notice, as we're attacking this Sin Spawn, you see his tentacles getting less and less, or there are fewer of them as you slash at it. So once it's down to its last one, so there, it's dead. And we should see the dying animation now, or the defeat animation. Little subtle changes in the game. A very little minute Easter eggs and little details here and there you'll notice as we play along. So let's go ahead and follow Auron. So I'm just gonna save. So we have our new save file. Let's save over this. Okay, great. Let's keep going. Okay.
What are you laughing at, old man? Auron, let's get out of here.
So we can sense from the dialogue that he has some sort of grudge against his father, which we'll see, which will be explained a little bit more later on in the story. Okay. So they've also added an interactive environment in this game. So we'll see it in a minute. How they've really incorporated other things. So the battle isn't just hack and slash. They've really added more. Like you really have to think it through before you attack in the game. So again, this is another area where you could just keep attacking these guys without triggering the scenes, and you could potentially level up really high. So see how I was talking about, it's asking you to interact with the environment. So we have to interact with this, we have to hack at this machine here. So it really incorporates the environment into it, which is pretty cool. Should do it? No, okay. One more. Oh, I guess not. Alright. That's it. There you go. So here comes down the building with Jecht's face on it. This scene right here gets me every time. Literally, Auron is more athletic than Titus. You'll notice why in a minute. First, he outruns him. Second, how does Auron jump higher than Titus? First of all, that's a crazy jump. See, he just misses the foot. And Auron's already up there. This is why I call him a badass. So we're seeing another FMV here. The transitions are really good. You really can't tell when the play starts and the FMV starts.
You are sure? This is it. This is your story. It all begins here.
Let's see.
Hey. Hey!
So the voice we're hearing there is Jet's. Again, the J for Jet.
Old man?
So we're seeing a dream-like Zanarkand, like a very different version. And this person that you're seeing there is
like
the little
where I
version
was,
of Titus.
what I got myself
You're probably
into.
wondering, why does he
I
have
started
different
to
colored
feel
hair?
lightheaded.
He's blonde in one, and the
then
other side he's
sleepy.
brunette. In the earlier versions
I had a
of the
dream.
game, they had
A
a
dream
different
of
model
being
for
blonde.
Titus.
I wanted someone.
He wasn't supposed to be
anyone
blonde. He was supposed to
beside
be
me,
brunette, but
so I didn't have to feel alone
brunette or
anymore.
black haired. It was just basically it was a different hair color, and I guess somewhere throughout the development process they decided to make him blonde. Maybe to attract more Western audiences, or for the Western audience to really relate to the character. That's why he's blonde hair and blue eyed. But in the earlier versions of the game, you can see that he had more Asian and more not even Asian, more Pacific Asian traits. So we just made it to Baj Temple. So I'm gonna go ahead and call it an episode here. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Please help the channel grow. Share with your friends. We'll take it up again with episode 2.